The museum has been, over the last 11 years, an important part of my life. I started here as a volunteer, then as a trustee, and I'm privileged now to be currently chairman of the museum as we move into our centenary year.
When I was at uni studying geology, the Lyme Regis Museum gave me experience working on fossil walks and in the museum, which gave me so many tools that I can now use in my career in geology, which I absolutely love. So thank you so much, Lyme Regis Museum, and happy centenary year.
And the museum fascinates me because it's a place where you can just lose yourself. Your imagination runs wild with both the geological history that is displayed here and all the social history since man has been about.
The museum stands on the spot where Mary Anning's house used to be. We're right on the coast, you've got stunning views. It's just a wonderful place and a wonderful building, and the finest museum there is to my mind, and I am privileged to have been the geologist here for nearly 20 years.
I love meeting all the people who come in, especially the children, and every day is a learning experience. There's always something new. People bring things in we haven't seen before. It's great fun, lovely people, super location, very lucky to be involved.
Museums like Lyme Regis Museum are incredibly important. They are little gems of information that allow people who come to visit the Jurassic Coast to find out so much more about this absolutely amazing piece of the coastline.
When I was younger, my favourite thing at the museum was the paper mache tray.
You liked that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mine was the poo table, the coprolites, polished poo table. I think I'd quite like a poo table.
Okay.
Volunteering here has given me so much. It's given me back my contact with people, which I missed very greatly when I was having to retire from nursing because my eyesight had deteriorated. And also every day is different. You just never know who or what you're going to meet, and each one has left with a real love of Lyme.
If I have two words to say about Lyme Regis Museum, it's awesome and personal. I am in awe of the ichthyosaurs and the ammonites that swam in the sea 200 million years ago, and it's the sea I swim in now. I think that's amazing. And personal because this is Sam Govier, and he was the old smithy of Lyme, and he's my children's great-great-great-grandfather, and he and his daughter were painted by Whistler.
Lyme's special to me particularly because when I'd done A-level geology, I wanted to visit Lyme, the place for fossils I wanted to see, and I came here in 1985, and I came down to Charmouth and I did a fossil walk, and there was a young man called Richard Edmonds just out of university leading the walks, and I didn't realise that 35 years later I'd be working here, and I've even got a little ichthyosaur that I found on display in the museum.
Congratulations on your centenary, Lyme Regis Museum. Your rich collections of rocks and fossils that chart the geological history of the area, plus your links to Mary Anning, make you a very special place indeed in our hearts. So what else can I say? Happy 100th birthday, Lyme Regis Museum. You're certainly looking brilliant for your age.
Lyme Regis Museum for me means being part of a professional team where we tell the story of Lyme Regis, Mary Anning and the geological history of this unique coastline. In my role as a volunteer, I meet people from all across the world, people who are here on holiday, but also scientists who have come to Lyme Regis for its particular geological interest.
It was fantastic to bring children down here and see the excitement and see them enjoying the museum so much. I remember a class of Year 9 kids getting at the dressing up box and having a whale of a time, hoots of laughter, and I thought this is what museums are all about. They should be fun and the children should feel comfortable and happy here.
And I've been very lucky. I've been able to hold many of the objects that are in the cabinets, and it's been a great privilege, but it's also a huge inspiration to me to see all the cabinets and everything in here, all of the different types of local history, and then to really zoom in and pay attention to something within this vast collection and really think about who owned it, what it is, where it's come from, and what it means to us today, and perhaps what it's going to mean to people in the future as well.
The main reason that I love Lyme Regis Museum is because of the situation of the museum. It's right in the centre, or right in the heart of the World Heritage Site. It's a place where people can come to see the history of the World Heritage Site in action. It has the fossils, it has the story of Mary Anning and the passion that she put into her fossil hunting here on display in the museum. And the museum is actually on the World Heritage Site, so you don't need to go anywhere else to see all the exciting things that were found here and all the history behind them. That's what makes it really alive for me.
100 years, Lyme Regis Museum and its centennial. And here we are, 100 metres above Lyme Regis. The museum has been at the heart and the centre of not just Lyme but the Jurassic Coast, and as such is a very special place for me and my family and my friends.
I think it's just a great little place for people to come and not be overwhelmed by too many things. I think that's really important in a museum, that you can come and you can pick bits out and you can enjoy things like that. So I wish it all the success, and I'm really, really proud to have been able to have this second show here showing excerpts from all 3 books.
So Lyme Regis is one of the most famous places in the world for fossils, and it's fabulous to see things like this giant ichthyosaur skull on display, found by Mike Harrison 10 years ago, just below the one that Mary Anning found 200 years before. And obviously we need a place like the museum to display these things, and this new gallery is fabulous. The downside is that it's not big enough. We actually need more space. There are more fossils in collectors' hands that could fill this gallery many times over, and there's a desperate need to find a way of putting them on display and actually sharing them with the public and with the science.
I started working here in 1992 because I'd got a degree in psychology and sociology, and I loved the history. And when we got the Jurassic Coast in 2021, I think, I realised the geology, and now I absolutely love this huge addition, because I think it's the most wonderful museum for a small town, and I think David's done this wonderful job getting all this planned. And I just love meeting all the people all over the world, some with connections with Lyme and some not.
What I've really loved about the museum is that involvement with young people and seeing them really excited about using the collections, and also just getting inspired by things that they might see and then transferring that into an art and craft activity.
I really like working at Lyme Regis Museum. It's a wonderful atmosphere, it's a wonderful institution. There's so much history in Lyme Regis, and we've got so much more with the fossil connection, Mary Anning, paleontology, and the whole team here is really lovely to be associated with.
I love Lyme Regis Museum because I was inspired by this first ichthyosaur, which was on loan. The real one was on loan from the Natural History Museum about 10 years ago, and I came and looked at it, and it inspired me to offer my services to the museum. And I've learned an awful lot and met some very interesting people.
I really enjoy being at the desk, talking to people who come in here, find out about their family history, about Mary Anning, about all the curious objects everywhere around. And also the view from the desk is my favorite view ever. It's so lovely to look out onto the sea, see people swimming, paddle boarders, and the sunshine on the waves.
It's the only museum where I know school trips depend on the tide timetable. It's fantastic. The school kids come, I've been helping in the education department. They come, they look around the exhibits. This thing's wonderful. They all crawl underneath to look at life under the sea. They go to the classroom, and then we go on the beach, fossil hunting with an expert. It's just amazing. And to see what they get from it. And they go home pretty much always with something they found on the beach. And they do rock pool exploration, and it just reinforces everything, and it brings the museum and the history to life. It's wonderful.
What I really love about the museum is that it's not just a museum about local history.
The staff are very inclusive. One of the things that they're quite passionate about is their wellbeing programme. It's such an inclusive museum. It's a great place to be part of.
I love Lyme Regis Museum because it is an absolute treasure trove for earth science. This collection was brought together by the hard work of people over the last 100 years. Each object helps us to take an imaginative leap into a past almost unintelligibly remote from us.
Whatever you are interested in, the museum's got such a lot to offer, and will be doing so for, I hope, another 100 years. Come and visit.